Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a bit of a shortcut, really, to get you well informed on a pretty critical topic. That's the foundational aptitudes and values, the things that underpin effective public service. We've gone through a whole stack of sources, including some really detailed excerpts from public service aptitudes, values, and ethics, just to pull out the most important nuggets for you. Our mission today is to unpack what truly makes someone, well, not just competent, but effective and ethical when they're serving the public. We'll explore everything from those sort of innate abilities people might have, right through to some really complex ethical dilemmas, especially in the digital age. And look, this isn't just for civil servants. Understanding these concepts is, I think, crucial for anyone in roles where responsibility and public trust are really paramount.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? How these concepts, which can seem quite abstract, actually become tangible guidelines. They're like the blueprints, really, for ensuring integrity and effectiveness in governance. We'll show you exactly why these foundations are so critical for what some of our sources call the steel frame of public service.
Okay, let's dive right in then. So when we talk about these core attributes, the very first thing the sources bring up is aptitude. What exactly is an aptitude? I mean, how do they define it?
Well, the sources define it as an innate ability, something you're sort of born with, a capacity to learn or do a certain kind of work. Think of it like being naturally good at sports, or maybe art. It's not something you necessarily learn step by step, but more a natural predisposition.
Okay, so it's innate, and it's distinct from knowledge or skills or attitudes.
Exactly. And that brings up a really important question, doesn't it? How does aptitude actually differ from, say, intelligence or skills? People often mix these up.
Yeah, I can see that. So what's the breakdown?
Okay, so intelligence is generally seen as broader. It's your overall capacity to learn, understand, reason. And, importantly, it grows as you learn more.
Right. It develops.
Yeah. Aptitude, though, is more limited, more specific. It can make certain acts feel almost effortless. But it doesn't usually grow in the same way intelligence does. It's more of a fixed potential for certain things.
Okay. And skills?
Skills are backward-looking. They describe what you've already learned through practice and experience, like playing the guitar, maybe.
Got it. Learned competence.
Right. Then you have abilities. That's more of a present description what a person can do now, like, say, general physical coordination.
Oh, present capability.
But aptitudes, this is the key, they're forward-looking. Mm-hmm. They describe the ability to do something in the future. Like an aptitude for mathematics suggests, you'll probably find it easier to understand and solve complex problems later on. It's about potential.
Ah, okay. Potential versus current skill or broad intelligence. That distinction makes sense.
Yeah, understanding that really helps you appreciate the sort of raw potential someone brings, as opposed to what they've already mastered. It's future capability versus current competence.
And these foundational elements, these aptitudes and the values we'll get to, they're absolutely crucial, aren't they? Our sources really echo this vision, like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's idea of the steel frame, the civil service as this integral part of government, the backbone, really.
Exactly. It supports everything: policy development, implementation, delivering services to the public. And our sources highlight this set of core values designed to ensure the highest possible standards in everything that steel frame does.
So let's start digging into those ethical components first. Where do we begin?
Let's start with integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a word we hear a lot, but what does it mean in this context?
Well, it's about sticking to your values and principles, even when, you're facing temptation or pressure. Big pressure sometimes. It's about being honest, ethical, having strong moral principles, and crucially, always putting the public interest above your own personal interests.
Always. That's key.
It ensures public money and resources are used properly, efficiently.
Yeah.
And that public affairs are handled openly, fairly, sensitively.
So it covers quite a lot. Compliance with the law, upholding justice.
Yes, all of that. And having the courage, the commitment to stick to high standards even when things get difficult. You absolutely must not misuse your official position.
Like using inside information for personal gain?
Exactly. Or disclosing official information without authority.
Yeah.
Even after you've left the service, that obligation remains.
Right. There's a quote in the source material I liked. Integrity is present when what you think and say is congruent with what you feel and believe, and also with what you do.
That's a great way to put it. That congruence. It sounds simple, but achieving it consistently, that's the challenge.
So can you give us some examples? What does integrity look like in action?
Sure. Think about maybe a police officer. One with real integrity might refuse an order from a senior officer to fire on unarmed protesters. even though, following orders is usually paramount in that structure.
Wow, yeah, that takes guts.
Or maybe a supervisor who insists on doing thorough background checks for all new hires, even if it slows things down, because they prioritize safety and trust long term.
Due diligence.
Or an administrator holding a truly open, transparent meeting to explain unpopular budget cuts, facing the criticism head on. That's accountability.
Right. And unfortunately, we also see examples of its absence, don't we? You mentioned scams earlier, like those awful digital arrest scams preying on people.
Exactly. Or major financial frauds, like that new India cooperative bank scam we read about, a huge fraud where officials allegedly diverted funds. It just highlights how vital integrity is at every level.
Yeah. Now, here's something from the sources that really made me stop and think. A powerful statement. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, but knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful.
Oh, that's a critical point. It really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It means, well, integrity gives you your ethical competence, your moral compass.
Yeah.
But knowledge provides the professional competence, the ability to actually do things effectively.
So you need both.
You absolutely need both. Together, they form what the sources call holistic competence. Alone, they don't make much sense, or can even be harmful.
Can you elaborate on that? Weak and useless, dangerous and dreadful.
Okay, think about it. Someone with immense integrity, really good values, but say, no knowledge of the Right to Information Act. They might want to fight corruption, but they lack the tool, the knowledge, to actually use the law effectively. So their integrity in that specific context is weak and useless.
Okay. They can't act on their good intentions effectively.
Precisely. Now flip it. Knowledge without integrity. Think of brilliant minds who've caused immense harm. Or, on a smaller scale, someone highly skilled in tech who uses it for cybercrime. Their knowledge becomes dangerous and dreadful because it's guided by self-interest or malice, not ethics.
Like the employee example, the one with skills but bad values harming the company.
Exactly that. The person with integrity but poor skills might not get promoted, but the one with skills and no integrity could bring the whole place down. It really underlines why we need to cultivate both integrity and knowledge through education, reflection, practice, continuously.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, moving on. Next up is honesty.
Right. Defined as being truthful, sincere, straightforward. In everything, actions, words, intentions.
The foundation of trust and credibility, essentially.
Absolutely. There's that Chinese proverb, slander cannot destroy an honest man. When the flood recedes, the rock is there.
Nice. And Aristotle's warning, too. The least initial deviation from the truth is multiplied later 1,000-fold.
It means you just don't deceive or knowingly mislead people. You shouldn't be swayed by improper pressures or personal gain. An honest administrator, for example, would admit a mistake in a budget report, even if it's embarrassing.
Own up to it.
Yes, and communicate clearly, truthfully about policy changes, even the unpopular ones. That builds trust.
Like the example of police using body cams to document interactions objectively.
Exactly. That's a practical step towards building public trust through, well, verifiable honesty.
Okay, so honesty seems straightforward, but you hear integrity and honesty used almost interchangeably sometimes. The sources, though, draw a distinction, right? A fascinating one.
They do. And it's subtle but really important. Honesty is primarily about being truthful, free of deceit. It mostly relates to your words, your statements.
So telling the truth.
Yes. But being honest in what you say doesn't automatically mean you adhere to a consistent moral code in all your actions. It's not by itself a guarantee of integrity.
Right. So integrity is broader.
Much broader. Integrity is about that steadfast adherence to a strict moral or ethical code. It covers your actions, your whole conduct. It implies honesty, sure, but it goes further. It's the validation of honesty through consistent ethical behavior. You can theoretically be honest in speech, but lack integrity in action.
Okay, that's clear. The example from the sources really helped me grasp this. The government contract one.
Ah, yes, the infrastructure contract. Good example.
Remind us how that works. Company A is cheapest. Company B has a better track record.
Right. So the official prioritizing integrity would likely choose Company B, the one with the proven track record, even if they're slightly more expensive. Why? Because the public interest is best served by a reliable, high-quality outcome. They're looking at the bigger picture, the long-term value, not just the lowest number on a page.
Putting public good first.
Exactly. Now, the official prioritizing only honesty. They truthfully report Company A had the lowest bid and award the contract based purely on that fact. They haven't lied. They've been honest about the bids. But have they acted with full integrity, considering the best outcome for the public? Maybe not.
That really highlights the difference. It's about the underlying principle guiding the action.
Precisely. Like the story of Yudhishthira from the Mahabharata. He told a literal truth, or half-truth, about Ashwatthama's death in battle. He was honest in his words, technically. But the intent and the context meant it was an act lacking integrity, because it was part of a larger deception to gain advantage in war. It shows honesty isn't always the same as full moral integrity.
Got it. Okay, moving on. We have a trio of related values next: objectivity, impartiality, and non-partisanship. Let's start with objectivity.
Okay. Objectivity. This is about being impartial, free from personal bias, approaching things neutrally, basing decisions purely on facts and evidence, not letting your personal feelings or prejudices cloud your judgment.
So decisions made on merit, using expert advice.
Exactly. And crucially, not ignoring inconvenient facts just because they don't fit your preference, or deliberately frustrating policy implementation. It's about relying on external facts, things that are true for everyone, rather than subjective feelings. More absolute, as you can say.
Okay, and impartiality, how is that different?
Impartiality is very related. It's about acting purely on the merits of a case, and importantly, serving governments of all political persuasions equally well. Decisions based on objective criteria, no bias, no favoring one person or group over another for improper reasons.
Fairness, justice, equity in action.
Pretty much. It's a core value in professional ethics. Think about that road contractor selection. Again, needs total impartiality and objectivity. Or in those high-stakes situations like investigations where political pressure might be intense, like the coal levy scam issues mentioned in the sources, maintaining impartiality is paramount.
Makes sense. And the third one, non-partisanship, political neutrality.
Yes. Essential for a professional public service. It means you serve the government of the day to the best of your ability, regardless of your own political beliefs, and you act in a way that maintains the confidence of ministers now and ministers in the future from potentially different parties.
So recruitment, promotions, purely merit-based, no political influence.
That's the ideal, yes. The sources mention Kenneth Kernighan's model, separating politics and policy, merit-based recruitment, officials not engaging in partisan politics, not expressing personal views on policy, giving objective advice.
So you shouldn't act based on party politics or use government resources for political ends.
Absolutely not. Your personal political views shouldn't dictate your advice or actions. A civil servant needs discipline, needs to implement lawful orders, yes. But they shouldn't be a yes man if an order clearly violates political neutrality or other core principles.
Like that recent advisory in Gujarat about civil servants and social media, keeping political opinions out of the public sphere.
Exactly. It reinforces that line. Now, comparing impartiality and non-partisanship.
Yeah, what's the key difference there?
Well, non-partisanship, or political neutrality, is specifically about not taking sides in political debates or affiliations. Impartiality is broader. It requires treating all individuals and groups equally and fairly, regardless of politics or any other characteristic.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A politically neutral official wouldn't openly support a party. But an impartial official would also ensure they treat all parties, all candidates, all citizens equally in their actual decisions and how they deliver services.
Ah, okay. Neutrality is about political affiliation. Impartiality is about equal treatment across the board.
You got it. Like a news outlet. A neutral one avoids taking a stance. An impartial one strives to present all sides fairly and accurately.
Right. Okay, so beyond those core ethical values, the sources also talk about broader professional values, right?
Yes. Professional ethics often involve wider organizational standards, codes of practice. It's not just about individual knowledge, but collective integrity and that holistic competence again. The sources stress that if you see conflicts with the code, you should report it to seniors or proper channels. And any evidence of actual criminal activity goes straight to the authorities.
We see this play out in things like, say, product recalls, right? Where a company's professionalism or honesty is questioned.
Exactly. Or that ethics committee case mentioned in Thiruvananthapuram, rejecting a clinic's clearance after patient harm. That's about upholding professional standards and accountability.
Okay. Let's look at some of these other important professional values. First, dedication to public service.
This is about a really strong commitment, isn't it? Serving the public, aiming to make a positive impact, putting public interest way above personal gain.
Devotion to duty. Even when it's tough or you're losing motivation.
Absolutely. It raises the question, what kind of commitment does this really demand? For some public servants, it's truly a life's work. sometimes at great personal cost, driven by compassion, a spirit of service.
So, like volunteering overtime in a tough neighborhood, or taking on extra cases.
Yes. Or just consistently making the ethical choice, like refusing that bribe because the priority is genuinely serving the public good. That's dedication.
Next, compassion. How is that defined here?
As being empathetic, understanding, genuinely caring towards others, a real concern for their welfare, and importantly, a willingness to act to help alleviate suffering.
Acting on that feeling.
Right. It affirms dignity, justice for all. It helps bridge that gap between the haves and have-nots.
The sources included some powerful quotes on this. The Dalai Lama.
Yes, emphasizing our interdependence, the need for compassion in our goals and how we cooperate. Khalil Gibran suggesting it's better to give unasked, like nature does.
Like the trees and flocks. That's lovely.
And Einstein speaking of widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures, the whole of nature, really broadens the scope.
The sources also distinguished between empathy, sympathy, and compassion. Can you recap that? It was helpful.
Sure. Think of it like this. Empathy is feeling with someone, understanding their feelings. Like a social worker, truly feeling the struggles of a homeless family, walking in their shoes.
Okay, feeling it.
Sympathy is acknowledging their feelings, perhaps feeling sorry for them. Like a mayor acknowledging the challenges faced by the homeless, acknowledging their shoe size maybe.
Great, acknowledging, but maybe more distant.
And compassion is being moved by their suffering to act. Like volunteers organizing a fundraiser, providing shelter, offering them a new pair of shoes.
The new pair of shoes, I like that. So compassion is empathy plus action.
Essentially, yes. You see it in social workers finding shelter, emergency responders providing comfort during crises.
Even the sports example, the One World, One Family Cup for charity, that's compassion in action too.
Exactly. The drive to alleviate suffering.
Okay, next value. Tolerance.
Defined as a fair, objective outlook towards people whose lifestyles, beliefs, whatever, differ from our own. It's crucial for peaceful coexistence, isn't it? Allowing people their rights, religious, constitutional. It teaches restraint.
Respect for diversity, basically. Race, gender, opinions, religion, ideologies.
Yes. Leading to that idea of unity and diversity, a truly pluralistic society. In public service, tolerance is vital for working effectively with diverse communities.
So you might disagree with someone, but you still respect them and uphold their rights.
Absolutely. Or like accommodating different religious practices within a government office that shows tolerance creates an inclusive environment.
Or a police officer needing to understand and respect different cultural communication styles when working with immigrant communities.
Perfect example. Building trust often requires that tolerance and understanding of difference.
All right. How about perseverance?
This is about persistence, isn't it? Continuing towards a goal despite obstacles, setbacks, sticking with it, maintaining effort, commitment, determination over time, even when things are really tough.
It sounds key to achieving anything difficult. Does it relate to ethics too?
Definitely. It plays a role in ethical decision-making. It gives you the strength to stand up for what's right, even when you face opposition or pressure to compromise.
We saw incredible perseverance during the pandemic, didn't we? Healthcare workers especially.
Absolutely. Just relentless dedication despite the risks. Or think about India's recent Cricket World Cup win against South Africa. That match showed the game isn't over till it's over. Unwavering determination right to the end.
True. And after natural disasters, emergency workers.
Tirelessly aiding communities for weeks, months sometimes. That's perseverance in the face of huge adversity.
Okay, next. Loyalty. How is loyalty defined in public service? It's not just loyalty to your boss, is it?
No, definitely not. It's commitment to the mission and values of the organization. And in public service, that primarily means dedication to the public and upholding law and ethics. Operating within a strong moral compass, making independent judgments.
So loyalty is ultimately to the public interest.
That's the core idea.
Yeah.
And that builds trust. You have to avoid conflicts of interest. If you leave an organization, you do it properly, respecting confidentiality, never exploiting your old position.
And loyalty should never be an excuse for unethical behavior.
Never. Or just for getting ahead personally. It has to be principled loyalty to the public good and the organization's legitimate mission.
The sources mention Dr. Kalam as an example, loyalty to the nation.
Yes. His life exemplified that kind of dedication. Public servants have to uphold the law, regardless of personal opinions. Serving the public interest demonstrates that commitment.
And we see loyalty tested in negative ways, too, like those officials suspended in the Pune-Porsche case for alleged dereliction of duty. Loyalty was clearly misplaced or absent there.
Exactly. Or when leaders like the Odisha CM emphasize that it's efficiency and service, not political loyalty, that determines success. It puts loyalty in its proper place.
Right. Final value in this section, collegiality. What's that about?
It's about working collaboratively, cooperatively with colleagues towards a shared goal, fostering positive relationships, a supportive work environment.
Teamwork, basically.
Yes, but it also implies collective responsibility, respecting each other's professional expertise, giving and receiving feedback well, managing conflicts constructively.
How do you build that?
Well, the sources suggest things like establishing shared values, reinforcing professionalism, having a clear vision, defining expectations clearly, and being mindful of diversity and inclusion.
And examples. Teamwork in crises.
Definitely. Handling mob situations, disaster relief, absolutely vital. Policy implementation is never a one-person show either.
Requires cross-department work.
Always. Or think about collaborative decision-making on a big strategic plan. Bringing diverse perspectives together usually gets the best outcome. A collegial supervisor encourages open communication, builds camaraderie, boosts morale.
Like that World Cup win, again, a collective effort, right?
Yeah.
Every contribution matters.
Exactly.
Why?
Perfect example of the power of teamwork and collegiality.
Okay, let's put all these values into action with that case study from the sources. The Minister's Road Project. Remind us of the setup. You're a senior officer, there's a big road project plan.
Right. Planned carefully using government land, minimizing private acquisition, fair compensation, minimal deforestation. Property prices expected to rise.
Sounds good so far, but then
the minister steps in. He insists you realign the road to run closer to his own 20-acre farmhouse. And to make it appealing, he offers you a big plot of land near his, in your wife's name, practically for free. Says it's all legal, even offers to help with your savings.
Wow, okay. So connecting this to the bigger picture, this is where the steel frame gets tested, right?
Absolutely. This isn't just hypothetical. This stuff happens. The conflicts here are huge.
Yeah.
Transparency versus misuse of position. A direct demand for corruption. The potential for that toxic nexus between politicians and civil servants.
And the minister's private greed versus actual public interest.
Exactly, because the realignment, it means acquiring way more agricultural land, displacing farmers, huge extra costs of the government, cutting down loads of trees. It goes against everything the original plan stood for, against your conscience, and it's a massive risk for future scrutiny.
So what are your responsibilities as the public servant in that incredibly tough spot?
Your responsibilities, guided by those values, are clear. 1, ensure public money isn't wasted. Get the best infrastructure built. That's about justice, fairness. 2, protect the fundamental rights of the people, especially those farmers facing displacement.
Right.
3, remember the goal is public welfare, not private gain. That requires temperance, controlling greed. 4, protect the environment. That's a fundamental duty. And 5, ensure the work follows the rules. Apply prudence, practical wisdom.
Okay, so those are the principles. What actions do you actually take? It sounds like immense pressure.
You have to rely on your moral intuition, your reasoning. And it takes fortitude, courage. First, you have to refuse. Politely but firmly refuse to follow the minister's instructions.
Just say no.
Yes. Then you need to explain why. Apprise him of the difficulties, the negative consequences of his plan. You use techniques like discourse, ethics, rational argument, or even siadwad, showing the multiple problematic facets of his idea without being directly confrontational.
So point out the risks. Farmer protests, delays, damage to his own reputation.
Exactly. Lay out the practical and political downsides for him. If he still persists, then you escalate. You go to the department secretary, lay out the whole situation, seek their guidance and backing.
You don't just cave in.
Absolutely not. Public and environmental concerns have to come before personal gain. Civil servants shouldn't bend to illegal or unethical demands. It's about upholding righteousness, honesty, like Confucius taught.
A very clear ethical line. Now, our deep dive wouldn't be complete without looking at how these values hold up in the digital age. Let's talk cyber ethics.
Right. Cyber ethics is basically studying ethics related to computers, programming, and importantly, how all this affects individuals and society. Information technology has immense social power, so ethical issues are almost always lurking.
What kind of issues?
Things like responsible online behavior, obviously. Copyright issues, that whole everyone does it so it's okay mentality. Hacking, cyberbullying, and confidentiality is huge. Security professionals handle incredibly sensitive data. Privacy is essential for dignity.
And spying. Accessibility issues.
Yes, spying for vested interests is a concern, and accessibility, censorship, they contribute to the digital divide, which is an ethical issue in itself.
So how do we navigate this? What are the best practices?
Well, we clearly need proper ethical codes, rules for cyberspace. It's still a bit of a Wild West sometimes. Cybersecurity practitioners especially need training and need to understand their ethical obligations to other people.
Thinking about the humans behind the data.
Exactly. You wouldn't handle someone's physical health or their money carelessly. Digital information deserves the same care. We need to focus on responsibility and accountability. People need to own the ethical significance of cybersecurity.
And transparency, autonomy, trustworthiness.
Yeah, crucial to maintain a healthy relationship between the tech practitioners and the public they serve.
Okay. And closely related, social media ethics. That's a minefield too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Social media has transformed communication, but wow, the ethical challenges are significant.
Like what? Privacy is a big one, right?
Huge. Massive data collection, surveillance worries, data breaches. Then there's cyberbullying. And these platforms can amplify harassment, especially targeting vulnerable groups.
Misinformation too. Fake news, propaganda.
Spreads like wildfire. It really impacts public opinion, even elections.
And addiction. Mental health impacts.
Definitely concerns there, especially for younger users. The design is meant to keep you hooked. Filter bubbles are another issue. Algorithms, showing you only what you already agree with, limiting exposure to different views.
And echo chambers.
Right. Plus the digital divide, unequal access making inequalities worse. Free speech gets complicated too, balancing expression with controlling hate speech or incitement.
Content ownership. Influencer culture.
Yeah, content being used without permission. And the whole influencer thing raises questions about authenticity, transparency, impact on self-esteem. It's a long list.
Wow. What a deep dive indeed. We've really covered a lot of ground. From understanding those basic aptitudes all the way through the seal frame of values, integrity, honesty, objectivity, impartiality, non-partisanship. We've seen how they apply in tricky real-world situations and how they're being tested constantly in these new digital spaces. Cyber ethics, social media ethics.
It's a lot, but as they say, knowledge is most valuable when you understand it and can apply it, right? Understanding these foundations helps you, the listener, critically evaluate leadership, make more informed decisions yourself, and really grasp what makes society function well or poorly, whatever your field.
Yeah, these aren't just abstract ideas for exams or textbooks.
Not at all. They are the absolute bedrock of trust and effective service. In government, in business, in communities, everywhere.
So as you reflect on everything we've unpacked today, here's something provocative to mull over, a thought for your own exploration. Considering how fast technology is evolving, think about AI becoming more integrated into public life and services. Which of these foundational values we've discussed? Maybe integrity, maybe compassion, perhaps impartiality. Which one do you believe will be most challenged and, conversely, most essential for the future? Not just for public servants, but really for all of us.